Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade. Welcome to our webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. Special welcoming goes to new people. And I'll explain the phrase that traders like to use. You plan your trade and then you trade your plan. Basically what it is, what we're trying to do here is creating a plan, creating a structure for our trading. So this way we'll get more organized. Of course, there's no guarantee in succeeding, but we have better chances when we are prepared by analyzing and looking through things and creating a structure, plan of actions for the upcoming week. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading for over 25 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, and after doing that for 11 years, I moved on in a different way of trading and also mentoring and educating. And I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. Now, I do want to apologize, and I think I give you a warning before the New Year's. I was away. I was actually in New York for 2 Sundays, so I missed 2 webinars. Now we're back on track and continuing with our webinars. Now, the agenda, as usual, we'll speak about indices, stocks, commodities, and Forex. We'll take a look at fundamentals. We'll mix them with some technicals, and also we'll take a look at economic calendar. I'll show you a few slides with important articles, and we'll go through winners and losers for the past week. All right, let's dive into it. So before we go, of course, risk warning. You can find the full statement at avatrade.com, and everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades, and we don't give any signals here, just education. Social media channels, please feel free to follow us and subscribe to Telegram, X, and YouTube. On YouTube, you can find a lot of information, tutorials, educational material, and webinars, including this one. So if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, click likes if you like it, share with people you care about, and write your comments if you have any. So before we dive into the articles, we started a new year actually. So happy New Year to everyone. And it looks like the first week of the new year is pretty strong. We made new highs on some indices. We're starting with a nice data on first NFP of the year. We had unemployment ticking 0.1%, even though we missed a little bit of the added jobs, but market took it in a very positive way. So we did have a nice run across US indices, also Europeans. It looks like market is looking strong at the beginning of the year. Here are a few things that I chose to show you. These are from marketwatch.com or Barron's. So here it says, Friday's stock market rally reveals what investors are really focused on. It's not AI, it says right here, it's not AI or Fed rate cuts, it's the economy, stupid. I don't like this thing though, right? But I guess they thought it was cute. US investors are lesser focused on the state of the economy, or laser focused on the state of the economy of 2026. And the key points, I like that they start putting these key points here so we can focus on them. So US stocks, including S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial, reached new record highs following the December jobs report. The Russell 2000 S&P Mid-Cap 400 indices also achieved new highs, indicated broader market participation beyond technology. One economist anticipates the US GDP growth of 3 to 3.5% in 2026, driven by increased worker productivity and capital investment. This is one. Now, of course, we did have a nice surprise. I don't know if it's nice, but a surprise from Trump going to Venezuela, kidnapping the president. There was, I think, over the weekend, I was still in New York. So I was looking forward to see how the market will react to it. And I remember gold ran strongly to the upside. The rest of the market didn't do anything serious right after the news. So it says right here, Chevron gets praised for having stuck it out, while Exxon says it could be in Venezuela within weeks. And the key points: President Trump is meeting Friday with major oil company executives to discuss investments in Venezuela's oil infrastructure. The White House says American energy companies and the Venezuelan people will benefit from these new investments. Trump announced the big oil companies will invest at least $100 billion into Venezuela. So that's about Venezuela. Now, Intel, we all saw the move on Intel on these new chips. Let's see if that's sustainable. And there's some key points here from smart people, quote unquote. Mizuho and analyst Jordan Klein suggests Intel recent stock momentum is retail driven, as institutional investors have shown a little interest. Next one is Intel's new Panther Lake processor designed on the 18A process face challenges due to rising memory prices and slow yield ramp. Deutsche Bank analyst Ross Seymour anticipates 14A process revenue no earlier than 2028, contingent on securing major customers. All right, so that's on Intel. We'll take a look at them when we get to the charts, how it looks technically. Now, and the banks, all right, we're kicking in the earnings season with the banks. And here's the article I took a snapshot. Big banks expect to post higher profits as shares surge. Key points: major banks, bank stocks except Citigroup reached all-time highs this month, with Citigroup hitting its highest level since 2008. Analysts anticipate improved profits for most banks in fourth quarter, with Goldman Sachs being an exception, forecast to report lower per share earnings. Key drivers for bank performance include the broader market rally, strong consumer spending, and the regulations effort by Trump administration. I just want to mention something that over the weekend I saw that Trump is trying to put a limit of 10% interest on credit cards for the year. So he's trying to control the buildup of debt. So I don't know if that comes into power. How is that going to reflect the banks? Just my observation here. So we do have reports on the bank, and as we already hear, I'm just going to share them with you. JP Morgan reports on Tuesday, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo on Wednesday, and Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley announcing on Thursday. So this is about the banks. Now, the Feds, the probability of the rate cut is shrinking as we speak. So we were at 73% staying the same, then we went to 83, and then to 95. So as of now, the probability of a change is very, very small, 4.4%, according to the Fed's tool, that will have that cut coming on January 28, and 95% that will stay the same. Now, economic calendar. I'll explain a few things for people that are new to this concept. This is public info. You can access it through our web trader or the app, or just Google it. And you can find things that are related to your trading. It's important to know these things. I always stress it out. If you're a trader and you're actively trading, you want to be aware of things coming up, so you don't want to be caught by surprise with those spikes up or down, and look at it and don't know what's happening. So here, what I do, I take out the high impact events only, and there's so much more, but you can filter through them and see what works for you. So on Tuesday, we have the employment data from UK. We have, I think the times here are GMT. We have a very important bunch of data, which is CPI. Of course, the Feds will continue watching the inflation. So the first CPI data for the year coming out on Tuesday. So of course, we should be expecting some volatility during those times. Wednesday, we have PPI numbers, retail sales, from US. Thursday, employment data from Australia, and industrial production and retail sales from China. And Friday, we have GDP numbers from China and CPI numbers from Germany. So these are the high impact events. As I said, you can look through them and filter. There's so much more and see what's relevant for your trading. Winners and losers. We have a lot of winners for last week. That includes metals, energy, and agricultural. And on the losing side, we have just two. So we'll start from them. Natural gas down 13%. It looks very interesting on the chart. We'll take a look at these things when we get to the charts one by one. On the winning sides, all the metals are up. Silver up 12%, palladium almost 11, platinum 6.5, gasoline 4.5, gold 436, copper 3.5, oil 255, wheat 227, sugar almost 2%, corn 177, and soybeans up 163. We'll take a look at them when we get to the charts, and it's happening right now. So we're moving to the charts. As usual, we start with indices. As we said, the global indices were strong. US indices, some of them made all-time highs. Europeans are strong as well. We'll start with China as usual. China is trying hard. We're still far from the highs. Japanese index had a huge week, very, very positive week here. We closed at the highs, making the high of 53,855 and closing a little bit lower. Now, moving to US indices, we had highs at S&P 500 and Dow Jones. You can clearly see this is the weekly chart. We're in a brand new territory, a strong closing. Dow Jones as well. Here we look at the futures. So a strong week here, closing almost at the highs. Nasdaq, it's shy of the highs, but we did try to break through this strong resistance here around 25,827. We had few attempts, and then we did close above it, which gives us a possibility of continuation and testing the highs. As we said, the Russell 2000 also at the highs. Now, Europeans, Germany had a nice few weeks of moving higher. So you could see here after the sell-off in mid-November, since then we've been moving higher. It looks like we did close at the highs as well. So what attracts me here, or what makes me think the German index here, there was a lot of accumulation within a very tight channel here. So roughly between, most action happened between 23,400 and 23,500. So 100 points channel was having a lot of actions, and then we finally broke through, and this is the reason why I had this huge impulse on Friday. So the question is, was this enough fuel to continue higher, or maybe we're looking to reverse come back into the channel, and that would disappoint a lot of these buyers here the moment we jumped out. So definitely we'll be watching the German index. UK as well, flying higher with the all-time highs. We didn't have any real consolidation or accumulation here, so let's see how far we go from this point. A French index, we don't watch usually, right? But let's take a quick look. Even French index is making highs here. As we know, they were having a lot of troubles there economically and politically. I don't follow closely France, so I don't know, but the chart looks strong. We closed at the highs. So that's as far as indices. Let's take a look at the big boys, I call them, the Magnificent Seven. Apple doesn't look that strong, right? Would it slide lower here, hugging this 100-day moving average here? Amazon had a nice shoot up the past few days. Microsoft remains pretty weak here, trying to break again above the 200 moving average. So we have a mixed picture from technology, right? Google, on the other hand, is the strongest, as it was the strongest. And as we know, a lot of it to do with its leadership in the AI business. It's just one of the reasons. So we had the highs on Google. So Google is strong. Meta, since that drop, the gap we didn't manage to recover here. We're still trading below 200-day moving average, sitting right on 50-day moving average here. Tesla, after that run towards the end of December, we had a sell-off, and Thursday and Friday we had a little bit of move to the upside, but we're having this resistance around 50-day moving average. Now, few more stocks, as we said. Intel had a nice run since the announcement of that chip. We're moving nicely here on Intel. I just want to do something really quick, connecting the highs here. See how we look with the trend line here. We're sitting right on that trend line, so you could see it connecting the highs. We are, it looks like, facing resistance. We stopped right. That was a big run on Friday. We stopped right on that trend line. Let's see, with all that pessimistic analysis that we read on that screenshot. Let's see if we're going to pull in here or continue. And if we are continuing here, how much space we have. So you could see in the weekly chart, we came to the level of March of 2024. That's what the sell-off started. So actually, we might see some selling actions here. And if we break to the upside, we're facing somewhere around $50 psychological level there. So that's on Intel. Now, also what caught my attention is Boeing. If you remember, with all the issues and the breakdowns and other things, Boeing was really sliding. But since then, finding a base here around end of November, we've been really aggressively moving higher. We came from 170s to 230s here. And if we are continuing here, we might be facing some resistance here. This was the pop-up. Since then, we've been sliding lower here. And the level is 238.19. We're about $4 away from it. Just mark it here. Okay, so that's our immediate possible resistance there. So that's as far as the big boys and Intel and Boeing. Let's take a quick look at banks. As we said, they are reporting here. So JP Morgan, as we said, reporting on Tuesday. It looks okay here. This past week, we had a spike above the highs and closed lower, so it was a little bit of a correction. And Bank of America is reporting on Wednesday together with Citigroup and Wells Fargo. So this is Bank of America, Citigroup, and Goldman and Morgan Stanley are reporting on Thursday. This is Goldman. As we saw from the article, it looks like Goldman's going to show our predictions are lower for the earnings. We bring the MT5 and we'll take a look at the Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley. So here's Wells Fargo. Looks strong, right? All the banks were strong, of course. So Wells Fargo reporting on Wednesday together with Bank of America and Citigroup. And on Thursday together with Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley is reporting. Let's take a quick look at Morgan. The weekly chart looks very strong. I mean, all the banks are strong, right? So let's see how these earnings will kick in and how the banks will react, and of course, how the market will react to it. And as we're already here, let's take a quick look at NVIDIA. Right, as we saw that snapshot from the article, investors are connecting or focusing more on the state of the economy than the AI. So you could see that NVIDIA is showing weakness definitely here. Since we made a high here in October, we've been sliding lower. This is the weekly chart. On the daily chart, we clearly had some lower lows and lower highs. So let's see how NVIDIA will play in the upcoming year. Of course, we're focusing on the upcoming week first. All right, so that's as far as stocks. Let's move to futures on commodities, and we'll go one by one, right? As we said, metals, agricultures, and energy was strong besides the natural gas. All right, so silver. We had a nice run on silver into the end of the year. Then we had a little sell-off. Now we're in the way to a recovery here. So silver was up 12.36%. We clearly have the upcoming resistance. Should we get there, the high was 83.84. And our support in this channel is around 70.5. Palladium had a nice week. We're still recovering from this sell-off that happened on the 29th on metals here. As of now, the immediate resistance we're facing, we did try to break through, it came right back, 1914. We have 2 consecutive days here, and then Friday we tried again. So that's on palladium, still ended up weak, 10.79%. Platinum as well went down on that day on the 29th. We had a nice recovery coming to this level here. 24.74 came back. We kind of in the middle of that channel right now. Gasoline had also a strong week, 4.5%. Thursday contributed for the whole move right here. As you could see, Thursday was moved to the upside. And what's really encouraging here, the Friday, even though we closed in red, but we closed at the top of this range. So that gives us an idea that we might be trying to continue this move to the upside. Or not, of course, we'll see. We still didn't break the 50-day moving average here. Gold, not a metal, of course. Let's just look left a little bit, see the dynamics. So October, we reached the high around 43.79. Then we had a nice correction here, reaching the 50-day moving average. The moment we caught up with 50-day moving average, we start moving higher here, and then we established all-time high here on December 26th, right after the Christmas. The high of 45.49, almost 45.50. Then we had another correction, breaking through this serious level. That's the reason I mentioned this level, 43.79. We did have a nice spike, nice sell-off here on the 29th, together with all the metals, and that kind of disappointed the buyers about this level. But the buyers came right back when we broke it to the upside, 43.79. So now we could be heading to confirm the highs or break them, and the high here was 45.49.76, so almost 45.50. We might be testing that and see what happens there. So gold, strong week, 4.36%. Another metal, copper, fully recovered from this drop. If you remember, we spoke about it, that right after the drop, I mentioned that we might be covering a 50% of that drop. It took a while, a few weeks, and then another few weeks, and we actually broke through that falling knife here, right? So let's see what's next. We're clearly testing the highs here. The question is, what's going to happen now? If a simple scenario, if the markets are continue high, if China catches up with this upside move, we could see another boost in copper. I mean, unless we don't hear any surprises like this one from President Trump as far as tariffs. We didn't hear much about tariffs. I think he's focusing more on the wars and oil and everything else, but you never know. So for now, this 595 area. It's the level of a strong resistance, as you could see. We tried. So copper was up 3.5%. Crude oil had a lot of actions with, of course, with Venezuela. We had up and downs, and now we're sitting right here on 58, 59 level. We did close on Friday above 50-day moving average. As you could see here, 50-day was kind of a trend line for the instrument. We were facing a strong resistance on 50-day moving average. We briefly broke above, came right back, and again we're facing resistance. And Friday we had opening and closing above the 50-day moving average, which shows a little bit more of a strength than prior to this day. So let's see if this would be the catalyst for continuation to the upside. Of course, a lot of things happening. U.S. involved in Venezuelan oil now. A lot of things important to mention. Iran is on the edge of revolution. That's what they like to call it. They don't say it's a protest. It's a revolution. A lot of sad things are happening there. And of course, from the business perspective, Iran, it's a big producer of oil. So let's see how the outcome or progress of that situation will be affecting oil. We don't know. So let's see when the market in oil opens. Let's see how this price reacts to it. Now, going into agricultures, wheat had a 2.27 move for the week. We are sitting here at the lows. We're trying to break through and reverse. Next one is sugar, almost 2%. Also, it doesn't look like any excitement is coming into it. Just a green week, just recovering roughly half of the losses of the previous week. Corn looks a little bit stronger here. At least we're making high highs, high lows here. We did close above 50-day moving average, up 1.77%. Let's see if this will continue or not. And the last one is soybeans. Soybeans had an attempt to move high, came right back. We retesting the 50-day moving average. We did make some high highs, high lows, so maybe we are facing the change of trend. We'll find out soon. And on the downside, of course, you have natural gas. This sell-off continues since above 5. We're going straight. This is weekly chart. Every week we continue lower. We're coming to possible support around 3. As we know, through all these months, the $3 level was a strong level, either resistance or support. It was changing. So as we're getting close to it, we might be experiencing some buying interest. Let's find out if that happened. And cocoa wasn't a happy camper this past week. Down, mostly Friday losses contributed to the weekly loss, down 9.5%. So you could see here in the weekly chart, the moment that we mentioned, the moment we broke the 6,900, we've been pretty much in a downtrend here, making lower lows and lower highs. And if this continues, we're about to make another lower low here. So that's on commodities. And let's move to Forex. Of course, we start with US dollar. US dollar had a strong week, second week in a row to the upside. As you could see here in the daily chart, it's a nice dynamic here. We had the double bottom here, breaking to 100, 200, and stopping right on 50-day moving average here. So of course, it's logical that the major currencies will be lower against the dollar. Euro dollar, very strategic here. There's a support here and right on 200 moving average here. Right at 4 consecutive sessions to the downside. Let's see if we manage to hold this, or we're going to slide lower. Pound as well, 4 consecutive days, breaking the 200-day moving average here. No serious support until about 133.70s right here. If we continue there, we might be finding some support around here. Aussie, 3 consecutive days to the downside, holding strongly though. Nasdaq, New Zealand dollar is weaker than Australian against the dollar. Clearly, we are below all 3 moving averages here. Dollar Swiss, nice action here. We had that triple bottom here and a nice move to the upside, breaking through 150 and on the way to 200-day moving average, possibly here. USD CAD as well. Canadian dollar show weakness against the dollar here. We had the nice level here, right? So you remember here, triple bottom here around 137.20s. And then the moment we broke this level to the upside, it accelerated the buying here. We did break through 250 and stopped right on a 100-day moving average here. Dollar yen, serious territory here. This is the high that we achieved on November 20th. The high here, 157.88. On the second attempt, we didn't reach it, and then we pushed through. We did have a higher move, but the closing, 157.91. The close was below this. So the question is, what's next? Hypothetically, if we break next week above and start building some nice support here, we might continue higher. If we start building resistance about below this level, we might be actually sliding lower. So that's on majors. Now let's take a quick at yen against other currencies. It shows weakness across the board. So yen is not that strong after kind of correcting itself, but also I never used it, never look at this pair, but what caught my attention here on the strong dollar for the week, for 2 weeks we had the strong dollar. Take a look. Dollar actually sold against the Turkish currency here, which I don't know who trades it, who doesn't, but just an observation here that even though a dollar was strong against across the board, it was super weak on Friday against Turkish lira. So maybe something's happening there. I'm not sure, just an observation. And for dessert, as usual, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin and Ripple. So Bitcoin, if you remember, we give it a hypothetical scenario. If we break this bearish flag, we might be going lower. As of now, we actually making a higher highs and higher lows, so it's encouraging here. We are trading above 50-day moving average, and we'll be watching definitely what's happening with Bitcoin. XRP is holding the $2 mark. We are trading above 50 and below 100-day moving average, currently at 209. And let's take a look at Ethereum. Similar situation. Looks like a little bit like XRP, right? Above 50, below 100, and trading at around 3,100. So that's it for technicals. Let's just summarize things. Of course, don't forget about the social media. I'm going to leave it on the screen. So we did have a lot of events, not a lot, but powerful events. We had NFP that affected the market on Friday. We had the President Trump acting against Venezuelan president, and let's see how that's going to play out with the oil industry and everything else around the world. We have issues with Iran. Unfortunately, a lot of people are dying there, just being shot by snipers. That's what I read. Hopefully things will get much better, and we'll finish with that. And it's going to be an interesting week. We have banks starting the earnings season for 2026, and we'll definitely watch that. And of course, we are in the new year, so I want to wish all of us a happy, healthy, successful, and profitable and prosperous new year. Of course, enjoy the weekend. Spend some time with your loved ones and get some energy for the upcoming week. And to everyone, to have a very successful and positive week. All the best. Take care.